Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing one of the most highly requested recipes that I've ever gotten on this channel. I'm going to be sharing my recipe for nothing other than Gulgula or Guyanese banana fritters. Now, I have been putting this off mostly because I do not like bananas. A lot of you guys probably don't know that about me, but I dislike bananas in any shape or form. Now, while I will taste one of these Gulgulas, it is not really my first option. But I know so many of you guys are banana lovers out there, so I had to deliver this recipe, and I'm really excited to share this one because it is not super oily at all. It's also not super dense and hard. I think it's just the right texture and it is perfect. So if you want to give a new recipe a try, please go ahead and try my Gulgula recipe, and I hope you guys enjoy this one for all of you who have been requesting it. So you guys are going to see today that I have my Auntie Chitra helping me in the kitchen. Now, being honest, I do not like mixing the batter for this Gulgula just because of those mushy bananas. But you can do this with a fork if you want to. You could do it with your hands. As you guys can see, Auntie Chitra went in there with her fingers and she mashed up the bananas. Now, all of my ingredients and measurements will be down in the description box below, so do not worry. You will have all of the measurements for when you're ready to put this dish together. I used about 2 medium-sized bananas that were overripe. They were very brown on the outside, very mushy, and that's exactly what you want because you want a banana that has a high sugar content. So all we have here is the 2 bananas that we mashed up really well. We have a little bit of mixed essence that we're going in with, and now I'm adding in some brown sugar. Now the sugar is up to you as far as how much you're adding in and what type of sugar that you want. If you want it to be a little healthier, you can use things like coconut sugar or artificial sweeteners, and if you wanted to, you could use white sugar or granulated sugar. But today I am going in with regular old brown sugar just because that is what we have on hand, and I really love that brown color that the Gulgula has when it is done cooking. Once you've mixed all of those wet ingredients together, you are going to go in with some all-purpose flour. Now, I'm being very honest with you guys, just as with any other type of dish, I will leave my measurement for the amount of flour that we're using in this recipe, but just depending on how moist and soft the bananas were, depends on how much flour you're going to need. So again, in the description box below, I'll have everything down there so you can follow that. But if you find that the mixture is very, very wet still and it is not coming together, you may want to add in about a tablespoon more of flour just to bring it together well. But as you guys can see, once we added in this cup of flour, it came to a very, very thick batter, almost as if we were making pulari or bara. So that's exactly what you want. And at this point, I am also going in with my baking powder. Remember, baking powder is the only leavening agent that we're using in this recipe today. There's no yeast, there's nothing else. It's just a little bit of baking powder, and those are going to give us some beautiful, fluffy Gulgulas. So all we're going to do is mix that in really well, and if you want to, you can also go in with a little pinch of salt just to offset the sweet flavors. But other than that, that is all of our ingredients added in. Now this is my family's preference whenever making Gulgula. They like to add in raisins. You can use whatever type of raisins you want if you want to use the golden ones or these dark ones. But really what the raisins do here is they add another texture to the Gulgula, and they also add another dimension of sweetness. My aunts love it in the Gulgula, so that's why we put it. If you don't want it, you can leave it out. And I know that I've seen some people chop up the maraschino cherries and add it in as well, but it is totally up to you and your preferences. Now, as I said before, once you mix it up, it is ready to fry right away. There's no kneading needed, no beating needed, and definitely no resting needed. Now into my karahi, I'm going in with some canola oil. You can use any type of light tasting oil that you want. I would not recommend anything like an olive oil just because it has a really strong taste and it won't make your Gulgula taste good. So I'm just going to heat this up on a medium heat, and I'm going to show you how to fry them. So my oil has come up to temperature, and at this point we are going to start frying. Now as you guys can see, I'm just dipping my hand in, getting a little ball, pinching it to the side of the bowl, and you see my little motion that I'm using my thumb for when I pick it up. I moved my thumb over the dough just to smooth it out a little bit. That's what's going to get you guys the round Gulgula. Now, I'm not promising you that every one is going to come out perfectly round, but for the most part, if you use this method, they will be nice and round. Again, you push it to the side of the bowl, you use your thumb and you slide it over the piece of dough in your hand, and then you drop it in the oil. So all you're going to do is drop about 6 to 8 in there, or as many as you can handle, and then you're going to wipe off your hand and start to turn them around just to make sure they get an even brown coating. And it is imperative that you keep the heat on a medium heat. I think that's the optimal temperature for frying the Gulgula. If you have it on a low heat, what tends to happen is the Gulgula becomes very heavy and it also gets very oily, which is not enjoyable. But if you have it on a high heat or too high of a heat, what happens is they get brown instantly and then they are raw on the inside, and that is not what you want. By you having a medium heat, they're going to start to get brown pretty fast just because of the high sugar content of the bananas and the sugar we added in. But it will cook evenly on the inside and they will fluff up perfectly. These need just about 2 to 3 minutes in this hot oil, and that's about it. Once you keep on stirring them and they get a very dark brown color, then you'll know that they are ready to come out. Now after about 3 minutes, you're going to see that your Gulgulas get nice and dark brown, and that is the perfect color that you want them to be at. If they are lighter, it might be an indication that your Gulgula has not cooked through thoroughly, and if they are much darker than this, you might want to lower the heat of your oil just so this way they don't taste burnt. But I'm just draining them down on a piece of paper towel just to get some of that excess oil, and now I'm going to continue frying out the rest of my batter. Now for any of you guys who find the method that I just showed you all how to fry the Gulgula hard, then you can go ahead and use this method right here. All you do is get a good amount of dough within your palm of your hand, and then all you're going to do is squeeze it in between your thumb and your index finger. Now sometimes I can get these round, but most of the time they do not come out super round. They tend to come out a little bit elongated, so I'm not promising a very round Gulgula with this method. I much prefer the other method. I will tell you, however, that this method is much quicker than just pinching an individual piece of dough at a time and dropping it in the hot oil. Honestly, whatever way that you want to do it, it's totally up to you and your preferences and what you're most comfortable with. And also, just know that no matter what way you fry it and how round these Gulgulas are, they're going to taste the same and they are going to be delicious. Alright everyone, so here's the moment of truth. I have all of my Gulgulas here and I fried them all. As you guys can see, they have a beautiful golden brown exterior on the outside. They're nice and crunchy, and when you break into it, you're going to see that fluffy interior. And you see that little raisin peeking out there? That's a little bit of added sweetness for all of you guys. These were nice and fluffy, almost cake-like on the inside because we were not using yeast, we just used baking powder, and they were not dense or oily at all. I think they were absolutely perfect. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a nice big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, come on over and join us in the Matthew's Guyanese cooking family. And if you click that little bell notification icon, you'll never miss out on any of my new videos. And you gotta keep leaving those comments down below so I know what to cook next. See you guys very soon.